Congratulations on the win. Sasha's performance yet again was very eye-catching. We saw what he did in Durban a month ago. He kind of really showed that form again tonight. Can you just talk a little bit, Rassie, if you would, about his development and what sort of a trajectory his career is on at the moment?
Yeah, anytime, evening, everybody. I think I will, but I first just want to talk about the whole team. You know, there's Gerard Steenkamp hasn't played for a while for us. There's a couple of guys that came back into the mix. Franco Mostert hasn't played a while for us. Andre really playing at 6 for us. So there's a couple of Grobbies coming up and really doing well. Zach starting well. So I think we have to mention everybody, and then specifically about Sasha. I think we must also remember that he was from 2022 with us in the mix when we were touring Ireland, and he was playing for the SAA side versus Munster and Bristol, and he comes through our EPD system. So I think everybody's seeing it's a bit of a rapid rise, but it's been, I would say, by all the different coaches through all the different stages. The SAA coach, which was Vandile Stick, we lost both the SAA games, but he trained the whole Springbok series with us that end of year tour. So, and with Andre and Mani and Stocker and Tony and those guys helping him, obviously we all know he's a great talent. And as we go tougher games, I mean, tonight was a wet game against a Japanese team who we've always struggled to put away. And you could see definitely he got, he was physical for the 10. I think he kicked well. I think obviously he tackled well, and then he's got the magic of the feel for the game, and he displayed that. And I think he's about 15 caps now. So with him and Mani and Andre, we're fortunate, But as you saw today, we lost Ox and Jan Hendrik last week, 2 top loose heads, just like that. So it was nice to get Mani onto the park, seeing how he also controlled it. But yes, obviously, we can see Sasha is getting more and more comfortable in the 10 position. But, next week is France and Ireland is still there. So it's always a step up. But in a wet game like this, I thought it really will.
That was my one follow-up question. Have you seen enough in him in games against Argentina at home, in Japan today, and against, at Twickenham last time he was here? Have you seen enough in him, in his performance, to put him in against the real frontline teams?
Yeah, well, he played against Ireland at home when we lost, or that series was drawn, or did we lose it? No, and in South Africa, draw. So he played there already against Ireland. He played against the All Blacks away from home, where we did pretty well. So but we must never forget what Andre Pollard has done for us in crunch times, and what Mani has done for us against Scotland in the quarter-final or semi-final of the World Cup. So, yes, we won't get overexcited, because I think the hype around him is not caused by himself. I think it's caused by people. He's very level-headed, and in the team environment, he's doing really well. But as we always say, there's never been a World Cup win. And I don't know if Johnny Wilkinson was 25, but never been a World Cup win with a fly-off younger than 25 years old. So, it's still 2 years away, and then he's 25. So he'll keep on growing, and we'll try and manage him correctly.
Rassie, just congratulations on both of you. How serious do you know of Fox's injury?
Yeah, no, he's serious. I don't think he'll play the rest of this tour. Unfortunately, in the tackle situation, I think it is ankle and his knee, so he's on crutches, so I don't think we'll have him for the rest of the tour.
Are you planning to replace him?
We are probably planning to replace him. We've got obviously Puan and Gerard. Gerard, I thought, also played really well, and then Thomas is back, and then we have obviously Wilco and what's his name, Zach, that plays today. So, but if another loose head goes down in a week, then we're a bit in trouble. So we'll probably get in Asanati. I must just talk to the selectors first. But as I sit here now, I think Asanati will come in, and then what's his name, Thomas will probably just swing between tight head and loose head for us. And I must just first get the go ahead from the selectors. But that's the way our heads are currently.
Rassie, jy lê die grootste ure in Suid-Afrikaanse rugby. Het jy altyd geweet dat dit so goed kan wees, of is aangenaam verras?
In Japan spesifiek?
Ja.
Afrikaans. Ja,
Afrikaans asseblief.
ja, natuurlijk. Je praat mooi Afrikaans. Japan is vir ons, die warm-up, obviously ons Brighton sal nooit uit ons koppe kom nie, want dit was ongelooflik wat Japan op die dag gedoen het. Dan ons warm-up match teen hulle, daar so, ons het nog net 3 keer in die geskiedenis gewen. En ons kon nog nooit hulle wegsit in 'n game nie. Selfs die World Cup quarterfinal, dit was dit minuut 55 het ons op 60 meter mol try gedruk om 'n regte game weg te sit. So Eddie is 'n goeie coach en jy het laasweek gesien wat hulle teen Australië gedoen het. So ek het nie die telling verwag nie en veral toe die reën begin het, is dit 'n bietjie moeilik geweest om regtig die bal te hanteer. En obviously 'n jong vaskop wat gespeel het en 'n paar manne wat lanklaas gespeel het vir ons. So was 'n bietjie aangenaam verras met wat die eindtelling is, maar ek dink is meer die wat se intent, die vasberadenheid waarmee die ouens teen 'n span soos Japan op die veld gegaan het en hulle die nodige respek gegee het en opgepitch het soos vir 'n All Black span met die fisiesheid en die intensiteit. Want obviously alles was nie perfek nie, maar ons is baie trots op mekaar oor hoe die intensiteit was.
Just a quick one on, I guess, the trial that was both Chesney at fullback, who hasn't played a lot there, but also with Andre coming on in the 20 jersey and Black both of them making massive impacts in the game. What learnings have you had from both of those going into France, and do you see yourself utilising them both in a similar way?
Yeah, well, Damien Willems is back next week. He'll be fit. Even we didn't pick for the specific game, to get game time into Luot and Franco, who plays in Japan, and also give RG a 80. That was good to see him play a full 80. What was your question?
How do you see you?
Yeah, and then Cheslin, at fullback. So we've got both Gaza and Cheslin can play there. Curtly and Ethan is both fit. So the only injury we really have is with Ox. And Thomas is back next week for us after the Premiership race they had to have. So, but we know France. In France, playing them away from home. I remember in 2022, I was not a water boy. I was next to the field. We were still allowed next to the field there, and the passion and the intensity and the pressure and the whole cauldron in which you play there. I think we've got sufficient depth and quality and players of experience and enough youth in there, but it's a totally different ball game there when you go in there. It's really a pressure cooker and it gets to you. It did in 2022. We lost it. I think Kwacha got a yellow and Peter Steff got a red. And then obviously we beat them in the World Cup, but we also know how close that game was. So now it's a massive game for us to come, and then obviously there's Ireland still in two other test matches. So I think we, in personnel-wise, we're not in a bad position, but it will be a massive step up from today and maybe some of the other test matches that we played in the incoming series. Obviously New Zealand, Australia and Argentina was tough. And I can't say Italy was not, but we still have to play them this year. But I think we're building well, but pressure is another thing, and we'll feel that next week.
Have you got the boombox ready for the French national anthem?
I think both of the guys has experienced what it's like, that sound and the way the French whistle and how they support their team. So most of the guys who have experienced it, I don't think it's necessary for that. But we'll keep us reminding each other, like the Eden Park game, we knew what was coming and we still couldn't do it there. So no, we'll have to do some really intelligent stuff and physical stuff this week to be ready for that game. I don't think the boombox, most of the guys has experienced that atmosphere.
Regarding today's Japan's performance and tactics led by Eddie Jones, so did they do anything unexpected or anything was as you expected?
For us, knowing their players not that well, and we only trusted more on our players who plays in Japan. There was I think 9 or 10 guys of the Japanese team who's played 10 or less test matches, who doesn't have double figures in test matches. They also had a 22-year-old hooker who starts, and you must put that into perspective. The caps that they had under their belt, I think, was average 16 caps. And they really lifted themselves last weekend against Australia. And for a team like that with not that amount of caps, it's difficult to analyse them, and Eddie is really sharp. But then in a game like this, where a lot of stuff clicked for us and worked for us, bouncing balls, where the ball got knocked on, it bounced into our hands, and there were some brilliant individual tries. But I think Eddie is not in the fortunate position where he's got guys with 40 and 50 test matches right through from number 1 to 15, where we're a bit more blessed in that regard. And I think Japan doesn't get the opportunity as much as we do to play against tier 1 nations. And I think the more they get that opportunity, like last week, we'll see. So, we had to pitch up with intensity for this game. Otherwise, it would have been a real grind again. And with the personnel that he had and the experience that he had, I think he's doing the best he can. And we made a point to pitch up like against the All Blacks for this game, or against France for this game, because we really wanted to do well. So otherwise, I can't really comment on his tactics.
Siya, talk us about your interchangeability of your backline with Colby at 15 and right out moving into the wing. It allows you to go 6-2 more often, and more teams are now using a bomb squad. Obviously, like England today had their first choice front row on the bench. Kind of just tell us about the value of players being able to play in different positions.
No, I think it's good to have versatile players like Kwacha. Kwacha obviously played in the sevens. He can, if we go 7-1 split, he can also fit in the back line. Andre now, who's the new one who can play, and then both of our scrum halves have come in at wing. So the coaches are able to pick who they want on the day, and whenever something happens, and like PT, when we played Argentina, where we scrummed with 7 men, he was a scrum half. So that helps a lot with the squad. And also if an injury happens in the game that's unexpected, we are able not to panic, to adjust and know what's happening. So we do prep as much as we can, but it's good to have players who can play, who can be versatile on the field.
And how much did it mean to play today in London once more, but different stadium this time, Wembley?
Yeah, it was special. It was really good. It's special, the support. South Africans always come out in numbers, and it was so great to see so many come out and enjoy and still stay long after the game, even though it was raining. And we've got 4 more, and we're going to need them in every single one of them. Whoever can travel, so we'll encourage them to come to all the games. So yeah, first of all, say thank you to them.
Thanks.
Last question?
Yeah, I'll ask you one. When Japan played South Africa in 2015 in Brighton, you were a young player just making your way in the game. You're now on that threshold of winning 100 caps. Could you just say something about the journey that you've had in the Springbok shirt since then, between the 2 games?
The one biggest thing I can tell you between the two times we've played them is in 2015 is the preparation. It's completely different. Like Coach says, we don't know a lot of the players because they don't have a lot of caps. But with the profiles that we see, the work that we do off the field, watching, getting the club games and seeing who's playing, so you come in the game more prepared, where I felt in 2015 it was a little bit different. Obviously, everything's progressing throughout, and I think our preparation helps us more than anything else. I think we spend, as players, more time on the computers and meetings, looking and making plans than on the actual field. By the time we come on the field, we don't remember 80% of what you watch of the other players, but the 20% that you do remember does help you when you're tired on the field.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll have to make some